Welcome to Life on Turkey Lane. I'm Sheila. I'm so glad you're here. And I've got a jungle going on back here. I thought tonight that it would be fun to do a little July garden tour and see if there's anything else that needs to be harvested. I've got a whole bunch of stuff up in the house that I'm going to show you in a little bit that we've harvested over this week. Things are really starting to come along out here, and I'm so excited about it, so I thought I would bring you along. Let's see what we have. Okay, this first bed inside the garden. Now you may say, now you just told me that you got a jungle going on back here, but you're showing me all kinds of dead stuff. Well, that's kind of on purpose because these are the peas. And I have been harvesting like crazy off the peas. I've got a couple pounds of like the snow peas, and then I had some sugar snap peas, and they have done really good. But of course, in the heat, these are cool weather crops, and so the heat has pretty much killed them off. But I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anything left on here to harvest, and then probably this weekend, if I can get around to it, I'm going to yank all these out of the ground, and we might plant something else in here so that we can get another kind of crop or a different crop before the fall. So anyway, so these are the peas, and like I said, they've been doing really, really good. And these were delicious, by the way. Eaten just plain, regular. So good. And my favorite way is to dip them in a little bit of ranch dressing. So they've been really good, very prolific. I will probably grow snow peas again next summer because they were fantastic. They just grow and grow and grow and give me lots and lots of produce off of them. So now down here in the front of the bed, I have the bok choy, and I have harvested some of that. And some of the leaves down here are getting a little bit of bug pressure, but these will grow back. I harvested, and we'll probably get another harvest of that later on in the year. These are the sunflower seeds. I'm not sure if I planted these with you guys or not, but in between the beans over there, I planted new bean seeds not very long ago, maybe a month. And then I also planted some sunflower seeds, and these are supposed to be dwarf sunflowers, so they're not going to get real big, and they're doing fantastic. I'm going to take you guys off the tripod here, and we're going to rock around and see if there's anything that needs to be harvested, and then I'm going to just show you everything that's going on. I'm really excited about this growing season, and I think we're doing pretty good. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Okay, like I said, so there's the sunflowers, and then there is the bok choy, and I have yet to cook the bok choy that I've harvested inside the house, so I will show you what I got. And there's the peas again. Like I said, they're dying back, and I may get a few little stragglers off of there, but I think they're pretty much done. And now we'll go over here to this first tomato bed, and these bushes are loaded with tomatoes. I've got quite a few red tomatoes inside already, and they're just doing fantastic. These are the little plum tomatoes, and like I said, the bushes are just loaded full. They're not getting really big. I'm not sure if this variety is supposed to be super small or not, but I've got a couple red ones on there that I'm probably going to go ahead and I may leave them on there another day or two. This variety, I believe, is the Brandywine. And we're getting, as you can see, there's some ones that are blushing on there and getting pretty close to being ready. And really, so far, the tomato plants have been doing fantastic. This one is a Cherokee Purple. And one of the branches on that has fallen, a couple of the branches has fallen over, and they're laying down in the bed, but I think they're still going to do okay there. That didn't get quite in the tomato cage very well, but we've got a couple in there that are working their way to be ready. I think that one's ready, and I think I'm going to go ahead and harvest it. And hopefully I don't pluck that green one off in the meantime. Okay, I'll come back to that in just a minute. But anyway, so yeah, those couple, that's a Cherokee Purple, I believe. Let me see what the thing says. Yeah, a Cherokee Purple. And I think these ones over here are Brandywine. They could be Cherokee Purples too, I'm not sure. And then in the second tomato bed back here, we've got a few on the redder side and a couple that are blushing, and these plants are just absolutely loaded with fruit here. I am so excited. And we have been eating a few of the tomatoes that have gotten ripe already, and they are delicious. And now this basil I have let go to seed because it brings in pollinators, and pollinators absolutely love the flowering basil. So I've just let it go to flower there, and it's doing real good. But these plants are doing real good. Now these couple on the end here, I believe, are my plants that I started inside the house in the spring. They were very, very stunted when I put them in the ground, but as you can see, and if I stand back and show you the whole bed, you'll be able to see that they are just as big as the two up here in front, pretty much, that I bought from the farmer's market. So, and it's hard to get a big view on this bed because they're so big. But yeah, my little stunted plant starts that I did myself are just about as big as these ones up here in the front that I got from the farmer's market. Okay, let's see, are there any other tomatoes out here that we need to look at? Now my cherry tomatoes, I've got lots of cherry tomatoes on there, but none of them have turned red yet. So we are getting very anxious for those because I do love me some cherry tomatoes to go on my salad. Here's another basil that's going to flower. And so yeah. Now going back up here to the first bed where the peas are dying back, here are my beans. And my beans are doing really good. Matter of fact, I probably have some that need to be picked off of here. The one thing I can say though is my beans have not produced as well as I would have liked. So there might be a few on there to pick and harvest tonight, but I'm not seeing a whole lot. This down here is the Japanese mint that I got from Baker Creek, and I went ahead and planted it in this bed, and it's doing very well. I don't know if that was a good idea or not because mint is very invasive, but we shall see, right? And then this dill, this is one of my little dill starts that I started inside the house back in the early spring, and as you can see, it's grown out of the bed and it's fallen over, and it's flowering. And but it can still be harvested and it will be fabulous, and I'm just going to leave it like it is right there. And now our peppers are doing fantastic, as you can see down in there. Lots and lots of little jalapeno peppers on that plant there. We got some cucumber beetles, it looks like, around in here. And these, sorry if I'm not aiming you at the right spot, but we've got several jalapeno peppers, a few that may be able to come off here. I've got several poblanos on this plant here. Looks like there's 4 or 5 down in there, and they are coming along really well. Waiting for them to get a little bigger, and you should see the size of this basil. And I have harvested this one 2 or 3 times. But the truth be told, I have plenty of dried basil inside the house that I have dehydrated. So I'm just letting all of the basil out here go to flower. And some of it I pick back. So if I need fresh during the season, I can do that. But for the most part, I'm letting it go to flower. I've got some, I believe those are ancho peppers in there. And so we've gotten quite a harvest of those so far that I've got inside the house that I'm going to show you here in a little bit. And we've also got several bell peppers starting in there. And they're looking really good. So we're just waiting for those to grow up and give us a big harvest. So yeah, everything seems to be doing fantastic out here. Now I'm going to turn around and show you the spaghetti squash because I think you'll be surprised. I've got 3 of them in there. I've got one. It's hard to get to them and get in there where you can see them all. But I've got one down in there that's a pretty good size that's starting to yellow up a little bit. And like I said, I've got several down in there that are going, and a couple down in there that are going, and man, am I excited. I think that's probably the one thing that I'm most excited about, other than, well, all of it's exciting really. But I've been looking forward to growing some spaghetti squash, and this is just doing fantastic. I'm super thrilled with how it's doing, and the plants are looking pretty good, even though we've had a really, really dry summer so far. They're doing pretty good. And now the yellow crookneck squash, I've got my two-headed twin up in the house there. These really have not grown like I thought they would. The squash don't get very big at all. Matter of fact, I'm going to take those 2 off of there. They've been on there for quite a while. And this one as well has been on there for quite a while, and they just don't get very big. So I thought they were going to be like a big yellow crookneck squash that I've seen in the past, and they're a little different. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest those real quick, and then I will show you the zucchini and the potatoes and stuff. Okay, now here are our 3 pots of potatoes inside the little confined garden here, and they're doing fantastic. For quite a while they flowered, and now they're just green. And when these die back closer to the fall, or in several more weeks, we're going to harvest those, and I'll let you see that. And now I'm going to turn over here to the zucchinis. Now the green zucchinis, they're looking really rough right now, but they have produced quite a few. We've eaten a few, and I've also got several on the counter in there, and that one back there is green zucchini as well. And it's warm out here today, so these are looking kind of rough. There's some bug pressure on the leaves, and so I'm not sure if they're going to be like finished and this is all we're going to do or what. And now the yellow zucchini here, I've got a couple on here that I need to grab off, and a couple that are growing, and they are just fantastic looking. They're healthy looking. Again, here's a green zucchini back here, and we're getting quite a bit of bug pressure on this because, let me see if I can catch one while it's sitting still. The little scoundrels. I think one just flew in my mouth. But there you go. There's the culprit. It's a cucumber beetle. So we've had cucumber beetles for the last several weeks attacking our zucchini. But so far we've gotten a pretty good harvest, and I hope we get some more harvest. We've got a couple small ones growing back there. So hopefully they'll take and we'll get some more, but we'll be happy with whatever we get. And here's another of the yellow zucchinis. And we've got a couple on there. Hopefully they've been pollinated and stuff. And those little cucumber beetles are everywhere, all over my zucchini. but I haven't sprayed them with any kind of bug killer or anything like that. So we're just kind of letting them have their way. And I'm going to go ahead and harvest this one zucchini over here. And then we'll be back. Okay, so while I'm out here, I'm going to go ahead and harvest whatever beans there might be here and any stragglers of the peas and get that done, and see if there are any tomatoes that I want to go ahead and take upstairs to finish ripening up. And then we're going to go up on the back deck and I'll show you what's up there. Okay, not many, just a small handful of the beans, which is pretty much what I expected. But I was rubbing up against that dill over there. Oh man, that smells good. I wish you could smell it. It's delicious smelling. Okay, now I'm going to check out these peas to see if there's anything on here at all. No, pretty much anything I'm seeing on the peas, the chickens are probably going to get. They're just a little bit getting dry, so I think we're good there. And let me go over here and look at the tomatoes and see if there's anything we need from there. Look at this big boy. I'm going to take it inside and let it finish ripening inside, but it's pretty close to being done. And we got this one. So that's pretty good just for tonight. Go ahead and take this one in too. It's got a funny little thing on it. So I think that'll be okay because I'm going to go ahead and turn the water on in here. And I don't want any of the tomatoes that are almost ripe to get some splits in them from, you know, water, excess water and stuff like that. So I'm going to take my harvest here and get out of here and close the gate and turn the water on and get some of these things watered. And we'll go up to the back deck and see what we got up there. Okay guys, so we are up here on the back deck, and there's some exciting things up here, and there's some that aren't so great, but I'm showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly today. So overall, I am thrilled with our garden this year. Our first year having the raised bed garden down there, and it is doing even better than I could have asked or that I expected. So I'm thrilled with that. And now the things on the back porch that I'm going to show you. Now if you remember earlier in the season, sometime in May, early part of May, we planted the Dollar Tree stackable tower planters. I showed you how you could do make a watering system for those. And the watering system works well. My grievance, however, is just with the planters themselves. They, are not deep welled. And they dry out really easy. I've been watering them 2 or 3 times a day and they still dry out. And so some of the items in those Dollar Tree stackable planters are not doing so great, but overall, you know, I may not use them again next year, simply because it's just been a lot of effort and a lot of time, and they have not really done as great as I had hoped. So I'm not bashing Dollar Tree products if this is what you have. I know some people have had great success in these for whatever reason. I mean, it could be a problem with my soil. I don't know. I have fed these plants a couple times, 3 or 4 times, and I think they should have done better than they're doing. So, but let me take you around and we'll show you the Dollar Tree stackable planters. Okay, so this is one of the stackable planters, and things are growing. You know, it's not completely dead. Now the dill is not so hot. That is on top, and so the soil does get dry a little faster maybe than the rest. The pineapple sage is actually doing really well, and I plan on harvesting some of that pretty soon. I haven't harvested any yet, but I plan on harvesting some of that pretty soon and drying it for some tea this winter. We've got some basil in there. My alyssum never really did flower. It's not dead, but it's not doing great. So more basil, and it looks a little droopy. I did just give it some more water here this evening. The little petunias are doing okay, but they're not fantastic. So, you know, those could have probably done better. And then going over here to the other stackable planters, I've got a little more basil over here and a little more alyssum. The purple basil is not doing too bad. And some of my basil needs to be harvested again before it goes to flower, because the stuff up here I'm using for fresh. There's another one of the petunias, not doing great. I did finally get some oregano to start pretty good in that little pot. But overall, I'm not super thrilled with the stackable towers. I am, however, pretty thrilled about these tomato plants. These tomato plants up here in these boxes are ones of my starts that were extremely stunted, and they have been growing pretty good. Now they're kind of stuck again. They're not wanting to grow any bigger, but I do have some tomatoes on them. This one I believe is a pineapple tomato, and then in this pot over here I have 2 cherry tomato plants. And like I said, they were really tiny when I put them in there, and they grew like gangbusters for a while, and now they're kind of stunting again. I'm not sure exactly why, but they do have a few tomatoes on the vine, and so I'm thrilled with that. But the stuff that I'm most thrilled with out here on the back deck is this tomato bush. This is one of the spoon tomatoes that I planted. I planted it out around the 20th of May, and it is just doing fabulous. I planted it in a little pot here that I had, and I planted it from seed. So since the 20th of May, this plant and the other one over here in this planter has grown just fabulous. They've got flowers on them. No tomatoes yet, but I am looking so forward to seeing these little spoon tomatoes and getting a harvest from them. I think that is so exciting. Okay guys, so if you'll remember a while back, we planted some cucumber seeds and started the battle of the cucumbers. I planted 3 different varieties and was looking forward to getting some cucumbers. And lo and behold, if you'll remember, back when we were getting ready to go to the Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival, I showed you where my puppy, Sissy, ate all the starts. Every last one of them. She chewed them down to the bit, and there was none left. So that day, that evening, excuse me. So So that evening I planted more seeds, and a critter came up on the back deck and dug all those seeds out. I'm not kidding you. It's the truth. And so a day or two later, I went ahead and replanted some more cucumber seeds and put some netting and different things around them so the critters couldn't get to them, and I put them up on the table so Sis couldn't get to them. And they've been growing really well ever since. And I'm going to turn you around here and show you. We've got a few cucumbers that I need to harvest tonight, and we're going to take a look and see how these are doing. Okay guys, so here are my 3 buckets of cucumbers. And granted, they're probably overplanted. I probably should really only have 1 plant per bucket, but some of them have 3, and the one in the middle there has 2. But I've got that cucumber and that cucumber that I'm going to be taking off there tonight. They need to be harvested. And the plants in the middle have some little tiny cucumbers forming on there, but I don't have any that are really growing and ready to be harvested. There's a small one that will be able to be harvested in a week or so, or a couple days maybe. They're not growing the fastest, but I'm still thrilled. They're doing pretty good. And then this one, I believe, is the Alpha Beet, or Beet Alpha cucumber plant. And we've got a couple on here that are growing. So we've got a couple on there that are growing and should be ready to harvest in a few days, hopefully, or a week. So yeah, the cucumbers are doing great, and I'm so happy about this. I'm not looking to get a ton of cucumbers. I just wanted some fresh homegrown cucumbers. And to be truthful with you, after seeing everything we've got here, I think my favorites so far that I'm growing are going to be the Beet Alpha. I believe that's what this one is. Yeah. That one is the Alpha Beet, and it gets the long, skinny cucumbers that are like the snacking cucumbers that I get from the grocery store. So I think so far those are my favorite. And but I'm going to go ahead and harvest these few that are on here. This one looks like it could probably be harvested already too, so I'm going to go ahead and clip that one off. I better get my little clippers. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and harvest a couple of these cucumbers, and I can't hardly do that with the phone in my hands. Okay, so I'm going to harvest these few cucumbers here. And then now, once you harvest and once you prune these back, you should start getting more flowers again, and get some more. So we've got a small harvest of cucumbers there. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to try them. They look real good. And like I said, I think the Alpha Beet over here are my favorite. So probably from now on I'll grow those because that's the kind I like. Okay, let's see what else is there on the back deck here we can look at. Okay, so now over here on the table on the back porch, I've got some of the herbs and the things that we started inside the house earlier in the spring, way earlier. I started them from seed, and I can post that video up here too. So, but let me turn you around and we'll take a look at how those are progressing. Okay, so this is our thyme. Really has a scraggly hairdo, doesn't it? But it is growing fantastic. It is a big old huge, just full, vibrant bush, and I need to get some of that off there and harvest a little bit for drying, but I'm going to leave the rest of it. And then we've got some parsley up here that's doing pretty good. Our basil's doing real good up here, and this is the one I usually mostly use for like the fresh harvesting. Our cilantro has died back, but that's okay. I can start some more in the fall and we'll have a good harvest of that. And then the oregano really has just started taking off. It took it quite a while, but we're getting some of that, so I'm excited about that. And now I do have a little bit of lettuce here on the back porch. This kind of struggled a little bit, but it's doing okay, and I'm probably going to harvest some of that here shortly. And then over here I planted a whole bunch of radishes, And they have made leaves, but they have not grown radishes. So I'm thinking that's a pretty big fail right there. So, but I'm just going to leave them in there for a little bit and see what they do. They'll probably die back, and that's okay. So, but overall, we're doing real good, and I cannot wait for more cucumbers, and especially like those spoon tomatoes over there. I'm super excited about those. So, yeah. Now let me take you inside and we'll show you some of the harvest. Okay guys, so look at this plethora of food that we have harvested from that garden. This is the garden we planted together. And I am so excited. Now that's the handful of beans I picked tonight, but I've got a bag of beans over here that I picked earlier in the week. So, doing good. Here is our double-headed squash. The one side started kind of wilting, so I went ahead and pulled it off there. But we got 3 other of those squash. We've got several tomatoes that are red. There's the one. Where's the one we picked tonight? That one right there, I think we picked tonight. We've got several of the green zucchini. I've got a few of the yellow zucchini. We got a whole bunch of ancho peppers and a bell pepper. And we've got those cucumbers from tonight. Here's what's left of the peas. And there's still quite a bit in there. You know, I mean, I've been snacking on those. And then we've got a whole bag of, this has been cleaned and rinsed off, and a whole bag of the bok choy. So, yeah. This is exciting, guys. I am so happy. I know if I can do this, and yeah, it's work. Don't get me wrong, it's work. But it is exciting and rewarding work. And if I can do this, anybody can do this, because you watched earlier in the year that I planted the seeds in the ground, with the exception of the few tomato plants. Everything else was pretty much planted from seed, and the peppers, but everything else was pretty much planted from seed. And so, yeah, this is exciting. I'm so happy to share it with you. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you in the next one. Maybe we'll be cooking some of this stuff up. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining me here tonight at Life on Turkey Lane, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.